Please stand. Welcome. Please stand for the graduating class of 2021. Mic check. Please stand for the graduating class of 2021. Parents, faculty, honored guests, and class of 2021, welcome to the 75th commencement ceremony for Bedford High School. Audience, please turn off your cell phones or put them on silent alarm. Gentlemen, please remove your hats and stand for the national anthem, sung by Ashley Carmen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
At this time, please be seated. Those seats are a little warm, ladies. Sorry. Parents, family, and friends of the graduates, members of the Board of Education, fellow educators, and honored guests. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the commencement ceremonies for Bedford High School's graduating class of 2021. Commencement is a formal ceremony, so we are asking for your help in maintaining the dignity of the event by observing the following traditions. Please refrain from leaving your seat to take pictures during the ceremony. Professional photographers will be taking color photos of all graduates as they receive their diploma. These photos will be available for purchase. Therefore, personal pictures should only be taken after the ceremony. This is a right and proper ceremony. We are sure that you agree that each family present today has a right to hear their graduate's name when it is announced. We ask you observe the Bedford clap during the diploma distribution. Please hold the full-fledged applause until all graduates have received their diploma. At the conclusion of the ceremony, the audience will be asked to stand and recognize the class of 2021. Thank you for your cooperation. At this time, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Assistant Principal Leslie Materney.
It is my privilege to introduce the Bedford Public School Board Education and the Administrative Cabinet. Please stand and be recognized as you're introduced. Please hold your applause until all of the names have been read. Today we do have a very special guest with us, Sheriff Troy Goodenough. If you would stand, please. He was wonderful enough to be here with us today with our Bedford Public Schools graduates. Thank you, Dr. Sheriff. Where's he at? Oh, he's over there. Okay, for the School Board of Education, we have Mrs. Lisa McCaig, President, Mr. Griffin Kirsch, Secretary, Ms. Diana D. Janey, Treasurer, Mr. Todd Bruning, Trustee, Miss Amy Dreerhorst, Trustee, and Miss Gina Keith, Trustee. Now for our administrative cabinet, Dr. Carl Schultz, Superintendent of Bedford Public Schools, Dr. Mark French, Assistant Superintendent of Instruction and Student Services, Mr. Howard Schwager, Executive Director of Human Resources and Labor Relations. I take great pleasure in now introducing the Vice President of the Class of 2021, Sajin Shah.
I would like to introduce the administration of Bedford High School. Please hold your applause until all names have been read. Mrs. Jacqueline Schultz, Assistant Principal. Miss Leslie Materney, Assistant Principal. Mr. Mickey Avalos, Assistant Principal. Mr. Mark Garman, Athletic Director. Mrs. Jacqueline Lancina, Career Technical Director. Mr. Kevin Weber, Principal. Will the rest of the staff members please stand? I would now like to introduce the Vice President of Bedford High School Student Council, Ms. Morgan Decker.
Good afternoon. I would like to introduce the 2021 class officers. Officers, please stand as your name is read. Audience, please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. The class officers: President Kendall Comer, Vice President Sajin Shah, Secretary Ashley Carmen, and Public Relations Annalie Appleman. Student Council officers: President Emily Schultz, Secretary Madison Wyrick, Public Relations Isabel Easton, and Treasurer Elizabeth Leetart. Please recognize the Student Council members seated with the graduates of the class of 2021. Student Council members, please stand now. In any school, the classroom leaders are often the most important leaders. Students that have participated in the National Honor Society are examples of this. Our National Honor Society students have made enormous contributions to our school and community. Will the members of the National Honor Society please rise and remain standing? At this time, I would like to introduce Kendall Comer, who will address the graduating class of 2021.
Sorry, the wind's not cooperating with me. I have always held a grudge against the number 21. I know that it seems kind of odd to have a vendetta against a number, but just think, wouldn't you be a little partial if the fate of your future, the end of your childhood, and all you've come to know and love relied on a 2-digit number? The meaning behind it has always scared me more than any spider or monster under the bed, and that is because change to me is absolutely unsettling. I could probably guess that many of you sitting here in the graduating class have the same exact feelings as I do about the number 21, except maybe your grudge isn't based off of fear, but instead hesitance or worry or uncertainty. Or maybe you're completely unfazed by all of this, and in that case, I'm very jealous of you. But the underlying factor behind our multitude of feelings right now as we graduate high school is the fact that change is inevitable. As I was writing this speech, I realized that over the past 12 years, this class has become all too familiar with change. Every one of us have felt this before, like when getting on the bus for the first time at 5 years old. We felt this when the answer to the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, wasn't a Power Ranger or a superhero anymore. We felt this while taking our 5th grade graduation walk through the hallways of our elementary schools. We felt this when we entered junior high and realized there were way more people we were going to grow up with than just the few you lived out your Girl Scout and Little League days with. We felt this the night before our first day of freshman year, memorizing the school map so that the older kids wouldn't make fun of us for walking into the wrong class. And we felt this on March 13th in 2020, when we got almost a year-long spring break and a reality shift nothing like we're used to. The class of 2021 has endured all of these different forms of change, and even though some of our experiences may have felt like the end of the world, quite literally, change has allowed us to still be here with one another today. With all of that being said, I would like to take the time to formally say thank you to those who have given us all the more reason to embrace the change that lies ahead. You can probably think of that one teacher who demonstrated to you what true kindness and care looks like. Maybe they would bring in donuts for the class every Friday, or they made handwritten notes before a big exam for extra encouragement. Some may have hung up your senior picture in their classroom, and some may have made a morning economics class actually enjoyable. I know of a teacher that even after retiring from running basically all of the extracurriculars, would still be the first to graciously help her students execute an event. And I know of another teacher who would read daily poems every day to begin class for extra motivation. From the classroom inside jokes to the lengths gone to help us succeed, we appreciate all of the educators and administrators who have made a lasting impact on our lives. I would also like to say thank you to all the family members of the class of 2021 who have offered support, love, and encouragement. Without you all being the foundation of who we are today, our successes wouldn't have been made possible. Lastly, to my fellow graduates, I'm very grateful to have grown up with you. Whether you have known the people around you since kindergarten or you had your first conversation with them at graduation rehearsal last week, it's quite cool to think we all hold some sort of piece of each other as we move on to this next part of our lives. Some of you will leave here today and never return to Bedford High School. Your new adventures will take you places far from Temperance, Michigan. Some of you will leave here today and return in the fall for the homecoming football game, joining alumni programs and giving back to the community that you have grown to love. No matter which one applies to you, we all have roots that will permanently remain here for the rest of our lives. If you take anything away from our time together, this past year of uncertainty, or even this speech, it would be that no matter how scary change or the number 21 may seem, adapt to it and welcome it with open arms. A little fear or hesitance or worry is what allows us to grow. It has only made us more ready to utilize our potential. Thank you and congratulations, class.
At this time, I would like to introduce Emily Schultz, who will address her classmates.
Class of 2021, congratulations on making it this far in your academic career. I'm so honored to give this speech today. This speech has been in the back of my head since freshman year, and I had high hopes that I would be able to give it. However, I realized that writing it was much harder than I had anticipated. My family and I spent countless dinners coming up with different things to say. I was nervous about this speech because I didn't want to focus on the negatives of this past year. But as I was writing, I realized there were so many more positives. It has been an eventful year as student council president because of the constant fight to get normal traditions such as big ball and homecoming. Even though we did not have these things, we still made the most of prom and the football games we could go to. I remember watching my sister give the same speech 4 years ago, and she said, "Time goes by fast," and I couldn't help but think, I wish I was graduating. But time really did go by fast, especially when due dates were coming up. I know we got thrown a curveball for our junior and senior years, but we got to be able to be a part of our history and will be able to share our stories. I know we never got a gas leak like the years before us, but we definitely had the longest spring break ever. Some of the greatest memories we will all be able to take away are singing the fight song after a win, beating the teachers in tug-of-war at the pep rallies, and unfortunately being 0-1 in Big Ball. I just want to thank my student council advisors, Mrs. Avalos and Mrs. Beatty, for encouraging me to stay positive and test negative throughout this last year where we missed out on a lot. I also want to thank this community for supporting us throughout this last year, especially with the pandemic. High school taught us more than we know. Besides learning about math and science, we learn about who we are as individuals, how to make friends, and this year especially, problem solving. As we all know, being a student is more than walking into school at 7:30 and leaving at 12:25. It means staying after for activities, working on homework for hours after school, or changing in the bathrooms after the last bell before going to work. I know our generation gets criticized for being addicted to our phones, but I think this year made us all hate technology. Leaving school did not mean we were done staring at a screen, because we still had hours of homework. But I hope once we graduate, we can all use technology to stay connected. I know high school wasn't always easy like the movies, but I know each one of us can think of one teacher who always went the extra mile. Maybe they helped you study after school, ate lunch with you, remembered it was your birthday, or asked how your game went the night before. Aspire to be the person that is remembered in life for the kind actions, just like you'll remember those teachers. I am also so thankful for all the friendships I've created over the years, especially with the people at the end of the alphabet, since I always sat by them. I know that some of these people I may have never met, and I am so happy for alphabetical seating because of this. Everyone has a different story and high school experience to share when you really get to know them. Some of my back of the alphabet friends have shared their stressful stories of being in the tech crew, the fun of marching the band on game days, or beating their rivals in sports. These people will forever change the way I view others. They brought new perspectives into my life and taught me to look beyond the appearance of others. When you move on from high school and have to make new friends, remember to never judge a book by its cover. Whether you become a Sparty, a Rocket, a Buckeye, a Wolverine, or whatever else you choose, you'll always have a place to call home. Go Mules and go Blue. Thank you.
Good afternoon, parents, family members, Board of Education, distinguished staff, and honored guests. Congratulations to each of you. You've all played a role in getting these students to the pinnacle of K-12 education. Your support of these young people before you have been an essential ingredient in the recipe for their success. And congratulations to you, class of 2021. You have much to be proud of. When I remember my graduation, I have not the slightest inclination as to what my principal said. With that in mind, I'll try to be brief. It is somewhat common for principals to stand at graduation and share some life lessons or share some personal experiences that might provide some wisdom for the departing graduates. I am going to forego that traditional route today. Instead of trying to impart my knowledge on you, I wanted to share with you the lessons that you all taught me over the past couple of years. Quite a few years ago, an inspirational book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, exploded onto the scene. Several subsequent books bearing this title have followed. In these books, the authors shared motivational and inspirational stories from real everyday people. Being around Bedford students has been familiar and similar for me. I have learned so much from all of you, but I selected a few anecdotes from a few members of the class of 2021. With that in mind, let me share with you my mule soup for the soul. The first story I wanted to share comes from Alex Mitchell and John Harrison. Alex and John received recognition from the College Board for their success on a College Board PSAT National Merit Exam. So I invited them to a board meeting, or I really should say a virtual board meeting, and as we were getting ready, I was talking with them about the preparation for the exam. I was seeking the special ingredients that Alex and John's success. However, the special ingredient was not something easy, like a practice technique or a trick. Both Alex and John shared how they had taken their school academics and studies seriously for 11 years. Alex and John reminded me that there is no substitute for hard work. If you want to do something, if you want to accomplish something, you simply have to do the work and work hard. Even when you work hard, though, bad things happen because life just isn't always fair. I was reminded of this brutal truth this fall. This fall, if you recall, we had a series of stops and starts with fall sports. There would be a football season, then no football season, then game on, the season was back. Seniors, fall athletes, finally had a chance and the green light to have a fall season. Senior athletic success is not the product of 1 or 2 weeks, though. It is often the culmination of a lifetime of work. Luke Carver and Savannah Killinen had been working hard for years to be just that they could be as part of their senior season. Like Alex and John, Savannah and Luke had done the work. However, life is not always fair. Savannah was on the girls' basketball team and the volleyball team. In the spring of 2020, her and her teammates were ready to play for a regional championship, with aspirations to make it to the Final Four. They were literally ready to get on the bus when that phone call came and the first COVID shutdown came. You want to talk about unfair? It could have been a scene in a movie in that classroom telling Savannah and her teammates that their season was abruptly ended. Not only did this happen to Savannah in the spring of 2020, a similar thing happened in the fall with volleyball. For the second season in a row, Savannah's season ended without even being able to play the game. COVID once again robbed her from that moment. When bad things happen, though, we must move forward. But it's okay to be upset for a minute. Luke Carver reminded me of that. Right over there, about where the band is on this field in the fall. I was talking to Luke before a game, and after all the stops and starts of fall sports, Luke was injured and unable to play. We were talking before the game, and I could tell Luke was bumming. I was trying to cheer him up a bit, and he looked at me and politely said, "But it still sucks, Mr. Weber." He was right. No matter how I spun it, it was unfair. However, when the game started, Luke did not wallow in his woes. I can vividly remember how much he cheered and rooted for his teammates. I wish I could tell you that the worst thing that would happen in life would be something like that, what happened to Luke or Savannah. But that would be untrue. Life is unfair and bad things are going to happen. And it's okay to be upset, and it's okay to feel, but you have to move forward, and you have to do it quickly, like Luke and Savannah. We can't control many things in life, but we do control our attitudes. We can choose to be positive. Each of you got to see a couple models of choosing our attitudes every day in school. When I think of the idea that each day you get to choose your attitude, I will forever think about Bishop, the original dude, McDowell. Each and every day, and I mean literally every day, Bishop greets the world with positivity, kindness, and caring. I can't count the number of times he wished me well, wished me a blessed weekend, or told me he hoped my break was really enjoyable. I know that one day something did not go right for Bishop, but you would never have known that because Bishop embodies choosing to be a great attitude every day. Bishop, thank you for 360 school days that you wished me well and brought some cheer to my life. You see, positivity is contagious, and it has a positive impact on those around you. And a smile is one of those small things that we can all do more of. Carolyn Grohl reminded me about the power of a smile. Even with face masks on, I don't think I ever saw her in the hallway and did not see a giant smile on her face. 80 years ago, Dale Carnegie wrote a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And you know you wrote a good book when corporations still use it 80 years later. And Kara reminded me about this book in a section on smiling. Smiling is a powerful tool for you and for those around you. Picking a great attitude and smiling are important aspects of being positive, being happy and lifting up others around you. However, sometimes you also just have to have fun. And I'm not talking about the big fun things like big ball and trips and beach balls. You have to have fun every day with simple things, like what Ben Fite did with his handbag/purse. For those of you who don't know, Ben has a chicken handbag. I mean, it literally is a rubber chicken that is made into a handbag. Not only did Ben carry around this rubber chicken handbag everywhere, he also named it Shaniqua Henrietta May. Seeing Ben with Shaniqua Henrietta May, the chicken handbag, brought joy to every passing time. Life is as fun as you make it. Having fun, smiling, and choosing a great attitude is important, but there will also be times that you need to be courageous. Fortunately, I know there's a tremendous amount of courage in this class, and it's on display right now today. If you're a senior who is going into the military, would you please stand right now? Thank you, gentlemen, for the service that you're about to give to our country. And ladies. We get to celebrate moments like graduation because of the courage of the men and women here this evening. In addition to the brave men and women we just recognized, you have another courageous young person in the audience today, Kirsten Frederick. Kirsten was in a bad car accident earlier this year. So on top of all the COVID barriers that we all faced, Kirsten had to go about finishing her senior year with casts on her arms, a walker to get around, and constant care from her family. Kirsten could not be in school every day, yet I saw her a couple weeks ago in the hallway, struggling to get down the hallway. She told me that her goal was to be able to walk here today at graduation. In a few more minutes, Kirsten is going to do just that. It gives me chills down my spine, and I'm sure it'll hit me in the stomach again when I see you walk across the stage. Kirsten, you and your courage and determination provides inspiration to me. If I did not share your story today, if I didn't share Kirsten's story when you cross the stage, I don't think 3,000 people would realize what it took to get here. Because the reality is we never know what others are going through. Kirsten, you reminded me this, as did Ashley Carmen in her essay, Pink. When you all see Ashley, which you'll see her later today when she addresses her graduating class, you'll see all of her scholastic achievements and her extracurricular activities. You would think that life was easy for Ashley. However, in her essay, Pink, the details allude to her struggles of her mother and what her family went through as her mom battled breast cancer. Ashley reminded me of a poem by Langston Hughes called Life is No Crystal Staircase. You reminded me that we need to keep climbing and that we never know what is going on with others. So thank you. I hope that you have as many stories, if not more, and lessons from the class of 2021 as I do. My wish for you, class of 2021, is that as you leave here today, as you embark on this world, that you keep learning and keep growing, but you also remember your stories. During your time here, you were surrounded by greatness and life lessons, and I hope you remember each of those and the lessons taught by your classmates. Bad things are going to happen, but handle the adversity like Luke Carver and Savannah Killian and Kirsten Frederick, and overcome it. Be part of something bigger than yourself, like your peers enlisting in the service. Do the hard work like John Harrison and Alex Mitchell. As you work and go through the world, remember that you don't always know what others are going through, like Ashley Carmen. But you can make a positive impact on the world with a positive attitude, like Bishop the Original Dude, and a smile like Caroline Grohl. And never forget to have fun, like Ben Fida and Shaniqua Henrietta May. Greatness and inspiration is all around you every day and has been for 4 years. You just need to see it. Thank you, members of class of 2021, for teaching me. Please remember that you are never too old or have a title that prevents you from learning, growing, and finding inspiration. Thank you for providing me with more stories than just a day an alligator made an appearance in our campus pond. Congratulations, class of 2021. We are all proud of you. We are at ease knowing you will be our leaders of tomorrow. The members of class of 2021 who are assembled here this afternoon have successfully completed the graduation requirements by Bedford High School and Bedford Public Schools. Having earned their diplomas signifies that members of the class of 2021 have met or exceeded the expectations set by the Board of Education and the state of Michigan. Now it is with honor and pride that I present this graduating class to the Superintendent of Bedford Public Schools. I would like to welcome Superintendent Dr. Carl Schultz.
Good afternoon, graduates, staff, and guests. As Superintendent of Bedford Public Schools, it is an honor to have this opportunity to address each of you on this truly special occasion. I have had the incredible pleasure over the course of my career to deliver many commencement speeches, and each one has consisted of a unique theme that I have felt best represented what I believe to be an important message for the graduates. So this afternoon, I will continue with the tradition of speaking from my heart directly to those of you who are about to take the next steps toward an exciting future. In considering this year's themes, I was reminded of a promise that I made to myself sometime during the course of the previous year. I swore that I will never again use certain terms in my writing or speech because they have become altogether overused or misused due to the situations that we have found ourselves within. This list of 4 self-banished terms include We are all in this together. In these uncertain times, out of an abundance of caution, and my new least favorite term of all, unprecedented, which of course could mean anything, unprecedented times, changes, whatever. However, for the sake of being able to impart just a little bit of wisdom to our graduates this afternoon, I will make one exception to my self-promise. First, our Bedford community truly has all been in this together. The successes that we've experienced are in great part due to the overwhelming support that we have provided one another. Whether it was working together to support academic needs, rallying to help our community's small businesses stay alive, or simply lending a shoulder to cry on when a family or friend needed it most. It was done by working together. Of course, this also means we shared a number of challenges as well, such as the mass number of cancellations and postponements, the missed opportunities, and the added stress of having to go through your senior year wearing masks and missing our delicious sit-down school lunches. Overall, the result has been an incredible life lesson in working together, one like few other Bedford graduates have ever had before you. Second, there comes a time when everyone learns the difficult truth that all things have some level of uncertainty. It truly does not matter how well you prepare. There will always be a level of uncertainty or an unknown that forces you to reevaluate a situation or direction. If I have learned anything over the past year, it is the best laid plans often change even before they have the chance to be implemented. As an example, every time that our district leadership team created a plan for student learning this past year, something unforeseeable forced a change or interrupted what we had hoped to accomplish. I mean, every time. And I know you understand this because many of you had the unenviable chore of reading my brilliant, articulate, and yes, perhaps just a little too long update letters. What I didn't include in my letters, however, was that at one point during the year, at the height of uncertainty, I stopped relying on my many years of leadership experience and began begging my incredible, intelligent personal advisors, Alexa and Siri, to help me with what we should do next. Much to my dismay, while they are both excellent in helping me name that tune or sharing the day's weather forecast, both are completely useless in predicting what changes the state of Michigan would force upon our district. It wasn't all useless, however. Alexa did share a few funny knock-knock jokes, and Siri had an amazing recipe for mango salsa. The bottom line, uncertainty comes in many forms and degrees. Whether you are steering a school district through a pandemic or trying to navigate the drive-through situation at your local Chick-fil-A, there are bound to be surprises, and we must all accept this and continue to be flexible and level-headed. I believe that the class of 2021 did just that. You planned, you adjusted, and you overcame. Third, the use of the term unprecedented quickly became one of my least favorite terms because of how it was being used globally. Well, that and because for some reason, I have a hard time spelling that word with all those vowels. For something to be unprecedented, it means that it has never happened before. Americans and the rest of the world have unfortunately dealt with pandemics and other types of catastrophes in our history. While the manner in which this one has been addressed may be unprecedented, the truth is that our history is filled with instances of great challenge. Families living in New Orleans during 2005's Hurricane Katrina experienced incredible challenges, with some families being displaced from their homes permanently as entire communities were erased from the map. Other families lived in makeshift shelters for years, which led to thousands of students missing upwards of 3 years of education and formal learning. I'm not sharing this today because I want to make you feel better about our challenges or our short-term learning challenges. I share this because many of the individuals that lived this experience have risen to become incredible professionals, such as first responders, doctors, legislators, and even teachers. So yes, while our most recent experiences may be unprecedented for many of us, enduring and excelling through these types of challenges is not new to this country, and it's not out of the ordinary for our families and students to be catapulted forward by the lessons learned during these difficult times. I have a fourth term that I mentioned as being banished, but out of an abundance of caution, I will not force us all to endure this hot afternoon sun any longer than we need to. See what I did there? Class of 2021, thank you. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for teaching us all what it means to be graceful, patient, realistic, flexible, and determined. Thank you for stepping up and helping your teachers with digital teaching and learning when not all of us were comfortable doing so. Most of all, thank you for being authentic and representing Bedford High School and our community with class. You have demonstrated that no matter what uncertainty or firsts or cautions must be applied to a situation, that you will meet and overcome it by working together no matter how long it takes. In the end, when I hear uninformed people state how many learning opportunities and experiences were lost this year, I will always be able to share how much we all learned together and from one another. Thank you for teaching us all that you are more resilient than we have ever given you credit for. Congratulations, and we are all incredibly proud of your accomplishments. As superintendent, by the power vested in me by the Michigan Department of Education and the Bedford Public School Board of Education, I hereby declare the Bedford High School class of 2021 officially graduated. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, we wish to ask that you consider this as a right and proper ceremony. We are sure that you agree that each family present today has a right to hear their graduate's name when it is announced. We ask that everyone demonstrate Bedford pride and use the Bedford clap during the diploma ceremony. At the conclusion of the diploma distribution, we will applause for the entire class. Thank you. I would like now to introduce Jason Sanderson, who will introduce the graduates as they receive their diplomas.
They got the diplomas? Ready. Okay. All right. Kaya May Albane. Kaya May Albane. Jenna Almamar. Annalie Joe Appleman. Margot Catherine Babkowitz. Eve Carlisle Bartlett. Kendra Marie Bell. Morgan Marie Betke. Chloe Renee Boros. Grace Taylor Boyd. Victoria Lynn Brubaker. Lily Sophia Bryant. Lydia Lee Keynes. Ashley Elizabeth Carmen. Kiera Elizabeth Carter. Serena Lynn Carter. Cameron Parker Allen. Trevor Douglas Bear. Hanny Barakat. Hayden John Barber. Tyler Michael Barros. Zachary Aaron Bachman. Braden Pierce Brewer. Austin Lee Brown. Trevor Douglas Brown. Bryce Hudson Brueggemann. Hayden William Burns. Grant Anthony Burton. Anthony Joseph Bircher. Elbricio Trevion Butler. Gavin Ray Depew. Jesse Chen. Kendall Madison Comer. Kate Yin Conlon. Kaya Lee Kuzno. Karis Rose Marie Cross. Cassidy Grace Shupik. Shyla Paige Davis. Anna Cecilia Deck. Lily Ann Decker. Morgan Elizabeth Decker. Emily Morgan DeGrace. Alicia Rebecca DeLeon. Lydia Grace Dew. Evelyn Francis Dillon. Alyssa Rose Dorn. Kyle Robert Butler. Aiden Charles Byerly. Joseph Anthony Caligari. Luke Eric Carver. Kyle Dennis Chadwell. Darren Brian Clevenger. Christopher John Coberly. Marcus Zane Coker. Take that red sheet. Jaden Scott Connor. Kyle Charles Coslow. Anthony Raphael Kuzno. Joshua James Cox. Edward Aaron Crosby. Garrett James Diners. Trenton Matthew Delaney. Leah Catherine Drehorst. Bobby Rose Dreyer. Angelina Leilani Duarte. Hannah Caroline DuPont. Sydney Leonore Duran. Isabel Elise Easton. Austin Ray Eckhart. Aubrey Michelle Ellis. Mary Fallu. Alexis Pauline Fisher. Tatum Leanne Fisher. Sydney Marie Forkey. Kirsten Mariah Frederick. Jada Ann Falecki. Stephanie Gayton. Thomas Eugene Destat. Michael Kearns Dillon. Colin Christopher Dirkmott. Jacob Ross Dubendorfer. Zachary Connor Dukes. Joseph Howard DuPont. Levi James Duval. Jacob Joseph Eckhart. Benjamin William Feit. Avery Matthew Fettig. Michael Sean Finnegan. Tyler Curtis Finley. Caleb Fletcher. Caden Nash Foster. James Edward Friel. Yep. We good? Anna Garcia. Anna Elizabeth Garcia. Reina Iriana Garay. Cassidy Lynn Gilmore. Haley Michelle Graham. Nicole J. Grodi. Caroline Ann Grohl. Sydney Nikayla Gross. Felicia Sue Groves. Emily Nicole Gurney. Jade Christine Gutierrez. Natalie Maria Hagee. Emily Marie Halter. Sydney Jean Hamilton. Amanda Marie Hammer. Amy Nicole Hannigan. Just 1 second. Connor Joseph Fulop. Ethan Michael Garty. Zane Owen Gerber. Gavin Randall Gill. Joshua Matthew Good. Braden James Green. Jarrett Allen Grindle. Drew Lawrence Grupp. Chase Matthew Grigorchek. Jackson Cole Geyer. Noah Gamble Hall. Timothy Nicholas Hall. We're building up anticipation for yours. Why am I not drinking water? We ready? Gavin Charles Hamilton. John Anthony Harrison. Justine K. Hart. Gabrielle Adair Hero, Katie Elise Hicks, Brianna J. Hinkleman, Jade Keong Hong, Alexandra Renee Hoskins, Mallory Christine Hudiker, Skylar Paige Howard, Grace Catherine Hullebarger, Elliot Renee Jacobs, Grace Ryan Johnson, Chelsea Rose Cam, Zoe Elizabeth Karnick, Taylor Ann Keckler, Jordan Mahala Kelly, Brian Joseph Heath Jr., Thomas John William Heitman, Brady Charles Henderson, Nicholas Austin Hills, Trevor Allen Horace, Jared Ethan Hovey, Landon Connor Hubbard, Logan Gerald Hullebarger, Matthew Vincent Husted, Dawson Alexander Irwin, Derek Philip Janis, John Henry Jensen, Adam Chase Johnson, Nicholas David Johnson, Ali Sammy Joma, Savannah Grace Killinen, Alexandria Nicole Knapp, Molly Sue Koviak, Olivia Renee Kruk, Madison Grace Kudzia, Elizabeth Ann Kajawa, Maya Lene LaChance. Okay, yep. Okay. I'm gonna get. I have to get a drink. Well, I know. We're gonna build this up for you. Oh, just for me. Make sure you really get the emphasis on the late. Now taking the stage. So you're gonna go to work after this?
No, I told him I only want to work 1 day a week.
Oh my gosh. Okay, false.
You had to choose me to hold it up on.
I know. Well, hopefully you're on the Jumbotron right now.
I know. Ah, no.
Yeah, I think you are.
Yeah.
The boots.
It's got all of them.
The cowboy boots.
They're showing them.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
They're made.
Put them on display right now.
They're made for walking.
These boots are made for walking.
Can we do a little line dance? We good? Alexis Olivia Lake, Amber Marie LeMay, Julia Marie Liddell, Elizabeth Kathleen Leetart. Isabella Grace Lowe. Callie Elizabeth Macrina. Annalie Annette Majewski. Elizabeth Ann Majewski. Jace Daniel Jones Jr. Michael Gage Keene. Holden Allen King. George Christopher Kissel. Matthew Philip Kahneman. Tyler Lee Krupp. Brendan James Kunkel. William Anson Kajowski. Nathaniel Gideon Leitart. Hunter Cole Lindquist. Spencer Sergey Lingle. Kwang the Long? Huh? Kwang the Loong? Kwang the Loong. Connor James Lynch. Ryan Connor Malley. Daniel Stephen Marquez. Ava Gabrielle Menard. Hannah Jane Mason. Olivia Marie Matuszewski. Sierra June Moss. Peyton Christina McHugh. Keaton Bryn McNutt. Madison Lee Merritt. Macy Morgan Mishakowski. Sarah Ann Mitchell. Avery Nicole Monahan. Kendall Lucille Morse. Zoe Kathleen Mernon. Julia Rose Nanny. Sarah Nicole Olnhausen. Melissa Claire Oz. Thomas Eugene Mathis Jr. Nicholas Edward McNamee. Bishop John McDowell. Or just name it. Oh, you got it? Ooh, it's wet. Ian Joseph Metter. Colton James Miller. Alexander Robert Mitchell. Brendan Michael Moan. Braden Andrew Montanez. Eric Kenneth Moore. Joseph Anthony Nagel. Jameson Daniel Nagy. Jack Matthew Nizala. Brandon Michael Nye. Curtis James Norris. Zachary Jacob Ortman. Tatum Jade Pack. Allison Nicole Pekulski. Mackenzie Grace Palmer. Emma Grace Parrish. Bianca Benedetta Pizzino. Madison Jade Flegger. Sylvia May Pierce. Alexandria Mallory Poole. Jenna Lee Popovich. Sarah Christine Przaski. Taylor Victoria Race. Carmen Renee Rafco. Farah Bilal Rahal. Lola Marie Reinecke. Caitlin Joy Ridner. Darren Robert Pekulski. Tyler Michael Perry. Joshua Robert Przaski. Samuel Joseph Ramsey. Joel Gregory Rand. Tyler Allen Ripple. Nicholas James Roberts. Nicholas James Rokicki, Riley Joseph Rosenbrook, Cameron Sidoris, Joshua Donald Schaefer, top that. Kyle Hunter Scoble, Jacob Allen Scout, Justin Michael Scout, Ryan David Skurlock, Madison Elizabeth Ritchie, Celine Elizabeth Robertson, Elena K. Rose, Cheyenne Mist Rutherford, Jillian Marie Saunders, Jadelyn Marie Schaff, Presley Louise Schmoose, Emily Nicole Schultz, Elise Michaela Silverthorne, Madison Lynn Simon, Morgan Lynn Simon, Grace Elizabeth Sitter, Shelby Sunshine Sevils, Leah Taylor Smith, Sydney Elizabeth Ann Smith, Devin Rod Seaman, Sajin Shaw, Keegan Michael Skolnick, Tyler William Smith, Zachary Alexander Solaric, oh, this one's going to be wet too. Jared Michael Spacky, Nathan Lloyd Staley, Collier Stark. What's your middle name? Okay. Collier Gavin Stark, Seth James Stelmazak, Blake Struck, Jake Michael Suffety, Joseph Daniel Thomas. Joshua Robert Thomas. Elias Joseph Tuma. Joseph Weston Luke Travis. Sydney Alexandra Sowash. Lindsay Ann Sparks. Morgan Isabella Spewike. Madeline Elizabeth Steele. Caitlin Marie Steen. Jade Ann Sulier. Lucille Elizabeth Suplica. Kara Lynn Swartz. Gracie Elizabeth Tegmeyer. Olivia Grace Valdez. Ayana Jean Vancena. Alyssa June Venus. Hannah Nicole Vickery. Abigail Louise Vincent. Juliana Linda Vogel. Jaden Wesley Turner. Do I have to say it twice? Connor Stephen Ullery. Logan Larry Luther Vaughn. Alexander James Voigt. Ty Jeffrey Wagner. Maximus Orion Waldrop. Jack Barry Walters. Russell Arthur Ward IV. Caden Travis Weaver. David Allen Webb. Tegan Charles Weiss. William Donald Werner. Nicholas Gregory Wilcox. Logan Robert Willen. Zachary Taylor Wingle. Morgan Rose Warner. Anastasia Renee Weekly. Madison K. Wyrick. Bayla Marie Wazalowski. Lydia Michelle Whitman. Mackenzie Lauren Wilson. Cameron Elise Wolf. Hannah Ruth Wright. Reagan Riley Yelverton. Do I have to say it twice? No. Zanizer? Yeah. Mara Leanne Zanizer. Mara Leanne Zanizer. Asha Grace Zapp. Caleb Lloyd Wittenberg. Angelo Wybera. Josh Michael Zeller. Thomas Donald Zoldowski. Jackson Robert Zorno. And finally, Justin Steven Zadorchek.
And can we have a round of applause for the class of 2021? Now I am honored to introduce the outstanding student, Ashley Carmen.
Thank you. Hi again. Okay. I'm very hot, so we're going to keep this brief. Okay. Welcome. We are all so grateful that we can even be here right now. So on behalf of my class, thank you for coming to celebrate this occasion with us. The class of 2021 is one of the most resilient classes this school has seen, as we've heard from the other speakers, having reached one of its biggest milestones during an era of uncertainty and inconsistency. But you aren't here to listen to me ramble on about how great we all are. I hope you already know that by now. So let's circle back to the speech part. In the fields of philosophy and education, there is a concept that helps us identify what we know and what we don't. This is called the circle of knowledge. Imagine a circle. Everything that you know as a person exists inside this circle, from 2 + 2 = 4 to the words to your favorite song. Now picture the outside of the circle. This empty space is what you don't know, such as quantum mechanics or why your car didn't start the other morning. There is another category beyond just those two: what we know, we will never know. Stay with me. There are many things in this world that we as humans will simply never understand, things that we can't even conceptualize. But we know this. We know those things exist. Just because we don't know what they are doesn't mean we can't identify that we don't know them, right? Keep staying with me. So these unknown things, wouldn't they also belong inside the circle? Keep that in the back of your head for a minute. The circle of knowledge challenges us to identify what cannot be identified. The issue in this challenge is not a lack of knowledge, but a tendency to attempt an understanding. We fear what we cannot understand. We exhaust ourselves trying to understand, tackling those boundaries, exposing those limitations. But we cannot overcome the incomprehensible until we understand what is within ourselves. For example, none of us knew COVID-19 was going to disturb our lives, to say the least, but we are making it through by taking sanctuary within each other, confiding in our circles, circles of friendship, circles of family, circles of support. Our successful growth through this COVID-19 is only occurring because we are focusing on each other and ourselves. We spend far too much time expanding the horizons of our lives and the circumference of our progress, and far too little time appreciating everything in and outside of the circle. We must recognize what the circle is made of before we can grow. It contains our loves, losses, experiences, hardships. My own circle contains unconditional love for my sisters, a trauma from my mother's cancer recovery, an adoration for music, and an intense passion for aviation that is challenged every day by an eye born mostly blind. I have always been fascinated by this idea of a circle. When I was a kid, I had dreams of being an astronaut, just like most kids. I suppose I may be childish still because my dreams have not changed much. But when I constrict myself to a circle, being an astronaut just doesn't seem possible. I think I do not know enough. I do not have enough. I am just not enough. I am hindered by a blindness I cannot cure, a hypoplasia that runs rampant in my right eye. Pilots can usually see, but a withered eye does not have to blur my path. It is not until I ignore the edges of my circle, let the unknown come in, and feel awash by what I have yet to learn, that I can appreciate the lack of tangibility in my goals and pursue them more practically. I am now going into aerospace engineering at the University of Michigan, and the first step has been had. Thank you. I challenge you to look inward. Find the boundaries. You will find the boundaries that you thought were there are gone. You are only limited by the confines of your own perception. If your education has taught you anything, let it be that anything is learnable. And fear is a limit to growth. All of the people you have loved, the mentors you have had, the pains you have endured are a testament to who you are. Your achievements do not exist within some metaphorical wall, but within yourself. Grow in spite of your circle, and let the wake of your progress leave behind a garden of experiences, of connections you have made. Water that garden often, give it sunshine to bask in. Your inner growth will be the catalyst for your outer expansion. Taking pride in who you are and the people and things that make you that way is the only way to approach this next phase of our lives. You can truly be unlimited when you break out of this circle. I challenge you to embrace growth because that's what got you here. That's what will get you out. You can be unlimited. Thank you, class of 2021. I'm so proud of you.
Will the graduates of the class of 2021 please rise? Graduates, you may now switch your tassels from the right to the left. I now present to you all the class of 2021. Students, you may now toss those hats. Audience, as the graduates gather their caps, please remain in your seats until all the graduates have left. Please do not block the aisle as the graduates leave. There will be many nice opportunities for pictures after the graduates exit. Thank you. Will everyone please stand in honor of the Bedford High School class of 2021.
Thank you, Kevin. Jason, good job on all the names.